So are you ready? Here it is, the big project where I get to prove that everything I've been telling you isn't just garbage. It actually will allow you to create a composite image for a book cover. We're going to do the big book cover image project now. And it all begins with trying to find some images that you can put together for a book cover. Well, it begins with deciding to write a book and then writing a book, all of that. We're going to skip all that, and we're going to get to the book cover. And supposedly we've got a title, and we've got a book that's written in a particular genre. I'm going to pick romance. Now, the one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do one of those bodice ripper, the hunky guy on the cover. And the primary reason is that hunky guys are expensive. You can't find hunky guys for free on Pixabay. Most of the guys are just at best cute. So I'm going to try and find some cute people, and I'm going to put them in a light romance book in the city. So let me show you a few images that I had in mind that I'm going to try and manipulate. First, the guy. I thought this guy was kind of cool. If we could have him down maybe in the foreground, in the lower right, smiling, and maybe crop off part of his head, and so on, to have enough room on the book cover to have other images and text and stuff that doesn't go over his face. So we're going to have a bit of a problem positioning him because he's a little large. And then I thought the girl would be kind of standing off like, oh yeah, well, you know what, so what, off in the distance. And then they would be in front of a cityscape. And this is the cityscape that I chose. Now, okay, the guy, I'm going to cut out from the background. The girl, I'm going to cut out from the background. And the cityscape, I'm just going to use, but I noticed the sky wasn't particularly interesting. It's just gray. And when I went to the cityscape to download it, which I've already done, I noticed this. Notice the sky on this. Industrial sunset. So I went and I downloaded that. So I've got city, guy, girl, and industrial sunset that I'm going to put together in PowerPoint to make a book cover. And this is going to require a lot of cutting out. It may take quite a bit of time. Let's go over to PowerPoint, where I'm actually going to begin by creating a brand new slide. And we're going to make it blank. Now, once again, we select what's here, and we get rid of it by clicking on its edge. Wait a second. What's happening? Oh, I'm hitting escape. There we go. Click the edge and hit delete. Click the edge and hit delete. And now it's blank. Now I want to set my dimensions. So once again, I go to design and I go to slide size and I go to custom. And this is going to be portrait. That'll get us part of the way there. Now, what do we need? We need 2,500 pixels high, and we're doing 300 pixels per inch, and I need to specify it in inches. So let's get out the calculator, do a little math. 2,500 divided by 300 equals 8.33 repeating decimal. So we'll make it 8.34 inches tall. And then we need 1666 divided by 300. So we'll make it 5.55 wide. So did we get that? I'm going to go here. That's the width. I need the height, which will be 8.33 inches. And the width is going to be 5.55. There we go. We got a portrait. Everything looks good. And we do that. I don't care what you do with nothing on my book cover. And there's a book cover shape. So the next thing that we're going to do, that we've got the right dimensions, is we're going to start bringing in those images that I found. So let's insert the background image first and work with that. So I will insert pictures. And I'm going to how to make a book cover. Where is our background? There's our background. Now this would have to fill the entire background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to use just this right-hand corner here to cover the book cover. Now, the next thing that I can do is I can crop this so that it actually fits. That might be nice. So let's go crop, and we'll pull in this far corner until we get it down to our book cover size. There we go, and we'll go ahead and crop. And there, now we've got our book cover with an interesting cityscape in the background. Now the problem is that the sky is boring. So let's see if we can get rid of the sky and get a more interesting sky in there. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is actually I've done quite a bit of work. So let's go ahead and say save as, so that we can browse and pick a directory. I'm going to put it in the how to make book covers, and this will be, we'll call this book cover. Now the other thing that I want to do is I want to make snapshots as we go along. So this is the versioning that you can do within a single PowerPoint slide. So here's after I've brought in the cityscape and I've cropped it to the right size. Now the next slide, what we're going to do is just a little bit more work on it. Here I'm going to go to the image, and I'm going to say format, remove background, and let's see what it's going to try and remove by default. Ah, that's everything. Okay, so we can paint in these buildings and we can get them back. So let's go ahead and start saying, oh, keep this little tower, keep that tower too, and that one. This little thing up here, the building, I don't care if we lose our wire, but I want all this stuff, and I want all of this. Let's scribble all over the place and try and get this in there, and I want all of this all the way up to where we get a little more detailed up against the sky. And let's, oh, I almost scribbled onto the sky. Okay, there we go. So we say, give me all that. And that was all it did? Okay, well, it didn't do very well. We're going to go up after more building. Let's see what it'll give us for that. Oh, there we go. We just got a lot of building that just popped in from that little scribble. Maybe I don't need to scribble quite as completely as I'm doing. We got all that stuff in. Oh, look at this. We're getting really close. Now what we want to do is we want to mark as remove a little bit here, down here. Kind of get this gray area in between the stacks. And we lost our stacks. Okay, so now we're going to try and draw the stacks back in again. There goes one. There goes two. And we'll try and get just the corner. Oh, you know, we're pretty close. Let me remove one more little gray area there. There we go. So we've got pretty much a perfect cutout of the sky. Actually, if I add and keep this part of the stack here, that might be nice. We're getting close enough. Okay, so now what I can do is I can say keep this. And you can see our sky is now gone because we've got white in the background. White is our background. Now what I can do is I can bring in that other image. So let's go ahead and we'll insert the sky image that I picked. Okay, so we double click on that, and here's the sky, and that's kind of interesting. We don't actually need it to cover the whole image. We just need it to be up here, and then we right click on it and we say send to back. And that's a much more interesting and dramatic sky. on this thing. It's got a few little things we could clean up here on the stacks, but I think that's a pretty darn close cut. I like that. So let's save that as the next version, and I'll duplicate the slide. Now the next thing we want to do is cut out the two people. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get the girl first. I think she's actually the easiest. If I insert picture, pick the girl, she's on white, which makes it really easy to remove anything, the background. So this should, let's do remove background. Pretty close. And why did it actually just go ahead and remove it? Let's discard changes. And oh, I didn't pick it. Okay, and then I go remove background. There we go. That's more like it. Now what we can do is draw in green. Get the top of her head back. There we go. And then get parts of the torn jeans and her hand back. And this part of the torn jeans as well. And then we'll get this part over here. There we go. And that's a really good cutout. So we go ahead and we say keep the changes. And there, we've got a cutout of her. Now we can move her into position. So let's say, let's exactly cut her legs off. There we go. We could even cut off a little bit of her shoulder by having her come out like that. Now, one of the things I like to do is I like to keep things in the frame of the picture. So even though I don't have to, you can see here's the finished image over here on the left and she's cut off. What I like to do is I just like to crop my pictures so that they fit in the image. That way I know looking at this what I'm going to get. And I go crop. There we go. Now let's bring in his face rather close. So we'll go and we'll insert picture. And we'll get him. There we go. So I probably want him as a little larger, but let's worry about that later. Right now, let's go ahead and crop him down to closer to his face. Okay, we might want a bit of his shoulder. Okay, there we go. And now he's a little easier to work with. And let's go ahead and do our magic remove background and see how horrible this is going to turn out. Hey, not bad at all. Lost a little bit of his glasses. Let's put his glasses back in here. Get that part of his glasses. Come down his neck to his shirt. And get that stuff in here as well. We're getting pretty close. Let's get that part up here. Oh, come on. Give me the rest of his shirt. You know what they call that? Close enough. So there we go. We've got him cut out. And we go like that. And there you go. Oh, now he's got his glasses cut. Why is that? Let's go. Ooh. Can we? I don't want to undo. We're going to have to undo. Oh, nice. It brought me back to that. Thank you. So I can keep in the area the corner of his glasses here, which kind of got cut off. There we go. Now I can keep the changes. There, and we've got him. So I'm going to move him down into position, and I was thinking that he would be a little larger. So let's resize him up into, say, yeah, like about that size. And maybe have him just about off the screen like that. And once again, because I'm this way about wanting things to fit on the page and see what they're going to look like. Let's pull that in on a crop. And that's the idea that I had. Now we've got this dramatic sky. All we need is some text, right, in the form of a title and the author, maybe a subtitle, and we've got a nice little book cover here. So let's go ahead and we will put in some text. I'm going to actually insert a shape because I want a box behind it. So let's go ahead and we'll insert a rectangular shape. And we'll pull it up in this area. And the text that we'll have in it, which do we call this? Vacation romance. There we go. Now, let's see, what kind of colors do we have here? Grays, definitely. And I don't like gray. We really need a shape fill color here. Oh, that's an interesting color. Let's try something like that. It makes the text pop. I like the text in white. I like the text bigger. So we will go to Home and we will pick bigger text. And we need to make the box bigger for this to fit. Okay, we don't want text, I guess, quite that big. There we go. Now, we kind of have this off lodged to the side like that. And on this box, format it. We don't need a shape outline, so no outline. There we go. And then what we want to do is we want to take this box and right-click on it and do Format Shape, because we're going to come over here and we're going to hit the fill and we're going to downgrade the transparency so you can see through it a little bit. So Vacation Romance, that's really nice, but the font is pretty terrible. Let's get a romancy fun font going here. So we'll go up here and we'll pick, I always like Amatec. Amatec is just kind of goofy and fun, and we can make it larger now. So let's get that text up there in size. There we go. So we've got Vacation Romance, and then I'm going to take this box and I'm going to hit Control-C, which copies it, and Control-V, which pastes that copy. And I'm going to bring the box down to the lower left, and in it, I'm going to put Brian Jackson. There we go. And we could probably bring this box down quite a bit. We could probably bring this box in quite a bit too. There we go. And move it up into this area. And there we go. That's my book cover. It's an all right book cover. You would probably work on it more, get some better fonts, put some subtitles on it, have some more colored boxes. But I'm trying to get across to you the idea of making composite images with this cutout idea. Once I discovered that, it's like PowerPoint has become my go-to general purpose graphics tool now. And you can use it to make some really sophisticated book covers. So that's it for this section. That's all I'm going to add to the course for now, and I hope that you learned a lot from this, and I'll see you in the next course. Okay, there's one thing that I forgot to add to my book cover that I want to show you before I move on, and that is adding effects to the images. I didn't really do any effects. I cut and pasted some stuff together, but I can, for instance, grab this guy, and if I notice how this is kind of a black and white sepia tone type of thing back here. I can go to this guy and I can give me artistic effects. No, not artistic effects. Let's do color. And I can take down his color. Notice how his color just went down? So he's very bright and colorful now. And here, he's less colorful. So if I take these characters and I go to color, and I say, tone down the color for me a little bit here, then they kind of blend more into the background. I can also do the same thing with the sky if I wanted to. Or I could keep the sky dramatic like that. I can do all kinds of effects, and if I want but I can add effects to the images. So I wanted to point that out, and with that, I'm out of here. I'll see you later.